Listen to Donald Trump's nightmare list of potential VP picks.
The audience has been asked who they think would be a good choice, and various names came up. One of them was, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah. He's made a big splash. Ron DeSantis, who's making an appearance today in South Carolina, we just found out. Obviously, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and a big presence here for Tulsi Gabbard. Very interesting. And Kristi Noem as well, I should say. Right. Are they all on your short list, and when can you...
I don't even know where to begin with this. The fact that Vivek Ramaswamy has established this much credibility within the Trump camp is mind-blowing. His whole campaign was ran as a MAGA-lite Trump sycophant who parrots more Putin talking points than Trump himself. If you look at the platform he ran on, it was all surface level talking points like there are two genders and climate change is not real, that was obviously specifically tailored to appeal to the MAGA fan base. Next is Tim Scott, who I find incredibly boring, and that might be why Trump put him on the list. I don't think Trump wants a VP who is more charismatic than him or who can outshine his personality. That may be part of the reason he picked Pence back in 2016. Pence is also incredibly boring. I just don't think Tim Scott is the pick. The fact that Ron DeSantis is even on this list is insane to me. Donald Trump spent months personally attacking and maligning DeSantis, and DeSantis just kissed the ring immediately after the Iowa caucuses. I also think from an electoral standpoint, DeSantis would just not be a good pick because Trump and DeSantis are both effectively from Florida, and oftentimes when you're picking a VP, you want someone who can give you an electoral advantage in a state that you're weak in, not a state that you're already very strong in, as Florida is a very red state, unfortunately. I've always thought Kristi Noem would actually be a decent pick from an electoral standpoint to appeal to that base that Trump has been losing with his abortion bans. I mean, if you want to bring out suburban mom and women, then Kristi Noem is a solid pick. I obviously do not like Kristi Noem. I'm just analyzing this from an electoral standpoint. What would Donald Trump do? Tulsi Gabbard, I don't think has a name recognition, and again, she is a borderline Russian shill who's been caught parroting Putin talking points verbatim on more than one occasion on live television, which is not okay. So again, the fact that someone like Vivek Ramaswamy is even on this list is mind-blowing to me. Trump is really falling for this audience capture where he's only picking people who appeal to his fan base and not looking at people who appeal to the broad masses, because I would think Trump's instincts would tell him Vivek Ramaswamy will alienate a lot of Americans who just see him as a slimy used car salesman. You want someone who boosts you up and gives you credibility, which again is why an established politician like Kristi Noem is a better pick and probably the most likely pick on this list. It also makes me wonder, is it effectively career suicide to be Trump's vice president? Because think about Mike Pence. He was put in a very sticky situation where if he did what Trump wanted him to do, he's violating the Constitution and the law, but if he doesn't do what Trump wants him to do, he loses the support of the Republican Party and everybody wants to hang him. So does someone like Kristi Noem, who right now has a pretty good reputation, want to be put in this position where she's going to be asked to do illegal things and she has to decide, do I want to prioritize the Constitution or prioritize my loyalty to Trump? And it's a lose-lose situation either way. So I imagine anyone he chooses as vice president will feel pressured to conform to all of these controversial policies. And of course, they'll feel compelled to publicly support the policies so they don't lose the support of the fan base, but at what cost? You're eroding the norms and the guardrails we have in place. A great example is that it seems like Trump is only picking from people who already peddle his election fraud claims. So what other claims will he coerce them into peddling once he gets them as their vice president? I mean, even when Trump was president, he frequently demanded loyalty tests from everybody around him and then did not hesitate to roast them on Twitter if they didn't adhere to everything he wanted them to do. So this dynamic will put any potential vice president in a very difficult position where failing to meet the loyalty expectations will get you ostracized from the fan base, but following the expectations is often unconstitutional. This is why someone like Vivek Ramaswamy being vice president would be scary, because he's charismatic and he would do anything Trump tells him to do. He has no moral framework that he's basing his beliefs off of other than appease Daddy Trump. Let me know what you think about the potential VP picks in the comments below. Which person scares you the most and which person is the smartest from an electoral standpoint? I'm Adam Mockler with Occupy Democrats. Like and subscribe for more breaking news content.